Hi, everyone. Good evening, and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I am so excited to say that Boss Talk is in season two, and I can't thank all of you enough for those of you that have commented, that have shared, reposted, tweeted, and just really love the content. I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I do it for all of you so that hopefully you get some good information, you meet some amazing bosses, and you're inspired to do your thing, whatever it is that you do, that your talent and your gift is in. So I am Beverly Brister, the host of Boss Talk, and I'm also the owner of Beverly's Web Shop. And again, thank you for tuning in. I have a wonderful guest with me tonight. She was on last season, and because the topic of mental health is so prevalent and very important, and something that we don't want to miss out on in terms of how to deal with it, because it's something that we deal with every day, really, whether it's good stresses, bad stresses, or just everyday life. Mental health is definitely important. I'm so glad that the stigma for mental health and the walls surrounding it are coming down. And it's something that we can talk about, without having to feel any shame or doubt or any kind of feeling about it. So we will be talking with Miss Lynette Sheard. She'll be on in just a moment. But thank you so much. If you have comments or questions, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and I will be able to see your comments come up in the stream, and we can have a little dialogue. If you have questions about mental health or dealing with mental health or something, not that this would be a therapy session, but if you have any general questions surrounding mental health and how to navigate maybe some things that come up, and even if we can't get to your question here on the live stream, uh, I'm sure Miss Lynette will have a way for you to contact her and you can get your question answered. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. And let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. I know I have last season we had some folks come from all over. I had some California people, some folks down in ATL, and just all over the place. I just thank you so much for tuning in. All right, she'll be on in just a moment. So, and happy Tuesday. We're all a little bit closer to the weekend. So, but if there were some bosses that you enjoyed from last season and you missed any part of it, last season it was exclusively Instagram. It was Instagram content. So you can go to Instagram.com/. Beverly's Web Shop and go to my IGTV, and any video that's tagged with Boss Talk. Those were my season one guests, my bosses for there. They'll soon be available on my website. So if you are not an Instagram person at all, not to worry, you will be able to soon see them on my website, which is www.bevswebshop.com. All right, so just a moment, we'll have Miss Lynette come on. Okay. And I'll bring her in just a moment. There we go. All right, so here we go. Hello there.
Hello there.
How are you? Love the hat.
Thank you. Thank you. It's getting cool out, so
Everyone, if you are not familiar with this hardworking lady, I tell you, she works harder than Ryan Seacrest, and I am not exaggerating. She is literally all over the place in a good way. Let me just give you a little bit of background with her. I see some people are saying hi to you. Camille is saying hi. I don't know if you can see the comments. Yeah. Lynette is the director of the New Jersey Mental Health Players. It's a highly successful, interactive community education program that takes the stigma out of mental health. And during Lynette's 18 plus year in the mental health industry, she's been awarded the APSE Employment Professional of the Year Award for her outstanding work with individuals with disabilities and staffing development. She's also a well sought after keynote speaker, actress, activist, producer, and vocalist. And she is such a sweet soul. You got to meet Miss Lynette Sheard. So welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back for season 2. Yay, season 2, right?
Yay. Yes.
One of the another amazing things that came out of COVID,
Yes. Like, okay, if I have to quarantine, let's make something out of it.
Absolutely.
I just got to share that I got a new mug. I'm going to go back to my Boss Talk mug too, but someone gifted me with this mug and just thought it was me. So thank you to
very nice.
Miss Rose who gave me that mug. So all right, so let's dig in. And like I was saying to the audience, mental health is not just top of mind. It's something that we really want to stay in tune with and be able to talk about. And I'm so glad that we're able to talk about it openly because everyday life, we deal with some things that pull and push our mental health to different levels. And we need to know how to deal with it and the resources we can get to be able to manage and have productive lives. So,
yes. Thank you for having me on and providing a platform to talk about mental health and emotional well-being and breaking the stigma. I love the opportunity and will take every opportunity that I can as long as I have breath to expose, to share, encourage people to, first of all, follow their own dreams and passions as it relates to whatever their gifts are.
Yes.
Whether it's music or art or whatever, but I have the rare opportunity, which is completely a blessing, to actually share my world, to blend them, the creativity, mental health, the advocacy, all those rolled into one, into the job that I have within the Mental Health Association, which is director of the New Jersey Mental Health Players, as well as a community education coordinator. So I get a chance to use, it doesn't even feel like work.
Yeah.
It's really, really breaking the stigma, talking about how you feel. There's nothing wrong with, first of all, discussing your feelings and your emotions, because we cannot separate our heads from our bodies.
Right.
As the Olympics absolutely showed us this year. We have the strongest people in the world, some of them with muscles on top of their muscles. And if they're not emotionally prepared, you can't function. You can't do the things that you love to do. So when we talk about staying well and having a plan to go to the dentist or go to the cardiologist or go to the pediatrician or go to the nutritionist or go to the gym, those are routines, those are patterns, and those are things that we do to keep ourselves well. But we need to really think about, what are we doing to keep our minds well?
Absolutely.
Because it will make the difference, and it will absolutely impact all of those other areas that you love to do. If you even doing what I love to do, and I love to do many things, is that I need to take a break, even from those things that I love to do, because even those things that we love to do can be emotionally taxing.
Yes.
So we have to rebuild, and we have to recharge, and we have to understand what it is about us that keeps us happy. And I don't think a lot of us really take the time to take serious time to say, what makes me happy? What brings me joy?
Right.
Because it seems, oh, that's just frivolous. Oh, we have things to do, more important things to do. But no, you don't, because you can't separate your head from your body. And if you're too emotionally exhausted, it's going to impact everything else that you do. I just want to share one statistic, because as it relates to your mood and your feelings and your emotional well-being, and the question comes up, well, what is emotional wellness? What is mental health? What does it really mean? We can talk about feelings and emotions, but really what it is emotional wellness is the ability to accept your feelings. First of all, just to even acknowledge your feelings takes a lot of courage.
It does.
Then understand why you feel that way. That
Mm,
takes a lot of courage, and you may need some outside help for that. Understand why you're feeling what you're feeling. Decide how you would like to act in response to those feelings, because being well gives you the power to express
right.
without constraints and to enjoy emotional expression and supportive and interdependent relationships, because we're
Mm,
not in this world alone.
no.
And
No.
our mood, our well-being, our emotional wellness will impact at least 28 people in our lives.
Mm, that's
And that
something.
person could be your spouse, your children, your boss, the lady or man at ShopRite, your employers, your co-workers. Think about when you're in a bad mood, how it impacts
Right. Right.
everything that you do.
Mm, that's something. 28 people from one touch point.
Yeah,
That's big. And
yeah,
you don't think about that. It's like, just a little start off with a smile to someone like who's bagging your groceries at a store, and you have no idea what that person went through just to get to that point, and you just
yeah.
assume, oh, it's just somebody bagging the groceries. No, it's a human being that is dealing with something, and that smile could have made the difference in their lives for that day.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
You know,
you touched.
to
No, go
that
ahead.
point too, because I'm always in ShopRite. Aisle 9, anyway, I'm always at ShopRite because whatever.
Right.
And during COVID, that was kind of like the only place I felt like I could go because I kind of had a sense of what it was.
Yeah.
But it's funny how like I'm maybe perceived as an extrovert, but I'm completely not that. So, but I will take my moments to
Yeah.
be outward and be kind of like happy go lucky, whatever, like when I'm
Hmm.
out in public. But I'll find someone, because they always come to me, I don't know what it is, who's frowning, not in such a great mood. And I'll just say, what's the matter? And they're like, what do you mean? Like, I don't even know these people.
Right.
And
Right.
I'll say, well, why do you say that? It's like, you just look so sad. Are you okay? And then they'll just start talking.
Hmm.
And it's amazing how people, given the freedom to say,
Yeah.
somebody acknowledging the
Yes.
mood, and it's like, I didn't even realize I was frowning. Oh yeah, then we're talking the whole line. We're going the whole line till we bagging our groceries. Oh, here, take this card or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it really is about connecting to people, because we really
Absolutely.
do need each other.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned Simone Biles, and I definitely wanted to touch on that because that kind of really blew up the news this summer. Do you believe there was a lesson in that we can take, or several lessons that we can take from that, especially for those of us that are in high profile, high stress, high competitive roles? What does that say, or what lessons can we take from that moment?
That's a great question, and so many lessons. First of all, to be on a global platform, imagine the weight on their shoulders,
Mm,
or the emotional pressure to carry the United States, to carry a team, to have the team depending on you, the parents that poured into you, and the friends and the things that you missed to just be where you are,
yeah.
and everyone's riding on that, and then you can't do it. That takes so much courage,
Yes.
because it's the person who drove you to every practice, or the lunches that you weren't able to meet, or to eat, or whatever it is. But
Mm,
I'm sure she's got more than 28 people that were affected by her decision to not perform.
right.
And but what did again, our mental health is our own. So one thing that I got from that is, first of all, how impactful your mental health is, and how we cannot absolutely separate our heads from our body. I don't care how talented you are, how strong you are. If your mind or your emotional well-being isn't solid, you cannot perform or even enjoy your gifts. You can't. It's impossible. That was one thing. Also, the courage that it took to
Mm,
just say, I can't do this, or
right.
to say no, to
Mm,
create a boundary for yourself, to protect yourself emotionally.
mm,
She trained all of her life for this.
yeah.
To go to the Olympics, it's not like going to ShopRite. It
Right.
takes, this is like, this is it. This is like the pinnacle. Could you imagine what she must have been, the emotional back and forth and the courage to finally say, I can't do this now. It takes a lot of courage. And that for me was a sign of wellness. Because when you can admit that you are weak or you're feeling weak, that's just a moment in time. That should not define who you are completely. It's a moment in time. And when you know that for me was one of, and there have been a few examples of athletes just really coming out and discussing their emotional well-being. And for me, it's a beautiful thing to see, because it gives other people permission to say, that I'm not, I need help. I need help. As strong and talented as I am, you know what? I need help too. And I'm going to get that help. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really like even that for me just gave me pause for a moment. And a lot of people don't, for the banter that you heard, the negative stuff, it's almost like shut up and dribble and just, be quiet and tumble. They have no clue. They have no clue. They've never been on that level. And that is so that she's very strong and very mature to be in tune with her emotion, with her mental stability at that point, to say, I'm not going to be at my best if I continue. I will ruin myself. Even, forget the medals. It's me. I care about me enough to pull back, and enough for my team to pull back. I can't do anything for them until I take care of me. So
yeah. And you know what, you just made me think of something else too, with the courage that it takes, that she was, and this is just my thought, because when you kind of step out of the norm, because people, have a perception of what you should do. Everyone's got their thing about what you should do, what, all these things. But she obviously had some type of support system.
Yes.
That there had to be, she was able to express herself, and she has supportive and interdependent relationships, meaning that there is a give and take, that someone has her back, that someone's there when she made that decision to say, you're going to be okay.
Right.
Or what do you need? How can I help you? So, and I think, for her, I think she gave, because I've had many talks about her in different groups and things, and presentations that we do around mental health. And that really, she gave permission. And all these athletes who are coming out being so strong, and, we see them, as these like pillars of success, and almost like superheroes. And it's like, wait a minute, they can't break. What's up? Well, if they, well, then I have no excuse not to. But it's just break the stigma. Break the stigma. When you see someone that you think is a superhero and they express their weakness to you, and they go get help, and then that says a lot. That is saying a lot. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for anyone who just says, I just need a timeout.
Right. Absolutely. Now, as we approach the holidays, and yeah, I know, right? Cue the music.
You should have some music, Beverly.
I know. Carl's not here to do that. So.
Carl. All right. Oh my God.
That in and of itself is enough stress between, all the stuff preparing for the different holidays that we celebrate. But, as a business owner, that, it's multifaceted, because we're dealing with, how we're going to make sure our fourth quarter business goes through so that we're successful. We're looking at staff, and now these vaccination requirements or mandates, whichever way you go with that. And then we're dealing with family on top of all of that. What are some things that you suggest that we could do to be able to manage all of that?
Budget. That's the word that comes to mind, is because, we may budget for our budget for the food. We budget for our rent or mortgage. We budget for things that we want to buy. Maybe we have a holiday budget for our shopping, whatever we're going to do. I want to encourage all of us to budget for our emotional well-being. Family is a beautiful thing. Family is a gift. And especially in the midst of this pandemic, this may be the first the first time maybe in a couple of years that you're actually going to see people that you haven't physically felt their energy or touched them or hugged them or kissed them or, and so this is an important season right now. But again, just as things could be good things, what is your emotional budget for these holidays? Have you budgeted time for the things that you need to stay well? And with the holidays coming up, take a moment, schedule it for yourself, schedule some emotional time, talk about, journal about. If you need to have uncomfortable conversations, begin having those conversations, write things down, check in with your coping skills. And what I mean by coping skills is things that you do that help you to maintain your mental health, whether it's exercise, whether it's get a good night's rest, whether it's eat healthy, whether it's get fresh air, listening to music or painting, coloring books, whatever it is. Begin budgeting time for your emotional well-being in preparation for the holidays. Because you know what? They're going to be stressful, but stress isn't bad. Stress is normal. Depression is normal. It's when it becomes overwhelming and you can't function. What mental illness is, let me just, on a 6th grade level, what mental illness is, and this will make it easier for everyone to understand and to break the stigma too, is that a mental illness, and when someone says, oh, they're mentally ill, what it is something that interferes, disrupts your ability to simply live, laugh, love, and learn. Because there's no such thing as normal. It's what's normal for that person. So when we talk about Simone Biles, and we were talking about her courage, but she has supportive relationships, people who understand your emotional landscape can look at you and know that, that's not really her normal. If that keeps happening, eventually it's going to affect those 28 people. It's going to affect your ability to live. It may affect your financial future, your ability to laugh, because maybe you don't feel like laughing. It's going to affect your mood. It's going to be something physically. These are signs and symptoms. Love, your relationships. Are people going to possibly back away from you or create boundaries because you keep hurting them? Not intentionally, but because we haven't budgeted the time to actually deal with that and learn. You can't study, you can't go to school, you can't focus, you can't learn that script, you can't learn that song. It's going to impact you. So mental illness is real. It's real. It's diagnosable. It's real. Mental illness is real, and recovery is possible. 80% of people recover. We all will experience a mental health episode, 1 in 5 people. And here come the holidays. You may be that 1 in 5. Check in with yourself. Give yourself an out plan. As you're budgeting for the holidays, ask yourself, okay, when am I going to take it down? When am I going to schedule this time? What's going to be my emotional holiday during these holidays when I'm going to be giving to everyone else? What am I going to give to myself? So that I'm able to continue to be the Lynette everyone wants to be around, because no one wants to be around. I mean, your family knows. Our family knows when we're not right.
Yeah.
And some of them will tell us, not in a nice way, but but
as we're carving the chicken or the turkey, then they just blurt it out. Yeah.
And just think about, okay, now look, everybody vegan. I don't eat this. I don't eat gluten. What everybody with their dietary requirements. I gotta cook this. I'm gonna bring it's stressful.
Yeah.
And it's almost like bring what you want to eat and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's or maybe you don't even want to because the vaccine is, you may be afraid. Maybe you have family members who are totally complete against vaccinations. don't want to wear no mask. I ain't wearing no mask. And then, and you say, okay, I want everyone to come together. We're going to be inside. And they're like, I'm not wearing a mask.
Right.
You think that's not going to be stressful?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's going to be even more stressful is having that uncomfortable conversation with that family member. But remember, facts aren't feelings. So
facts
emotional wellness is being comfortable to express how you feel, accept how you feel, and be able to defend it and let it go. Because you know what? As someone told me this a long time ago, I'm not saying no to you. I'm saying yes to me. it's just, or you know what? My heart says yes, but my schedule says no.
Right.
These things, find these things, because sometimes you may need to say that, and you don't want to hurt people's feelings, but sometimes you really just need some time to yourself. And it's usually around the time when everybody wants to be with you.
Right. I like that budget. And is there a download we can get of a budget? And I'm not even playing. That sounds like something we can click and download. If
I'll find one. I'll find one. But you know what? You know how you can start your budget? All of you, first of all, you make when you have a budget, first of all, you have a list of your line items, right?
Yep.
Your line items could be your coping skills. So, okay, I need to laugh. I need to watch a funny TV show. That's a line item. I need to eat healthy 3 days a week. That's my line item. I need to work out every day. That's a line item. So your line items are specific and individual to you. They're personalized. I need to sing a song out loud. I need to whatever. Those become your line items because it's personalized. And so when you get to a point when you don't feel you're normal, look at your list. Oh, I didn't pick that up. Oh, that's why I feel so bad. I haven't done anything on this list. Right. I haven't budgeted for myself. I haven't paid me yet.
Right.
And I'm giving everything away, and I haven't even laughed this week. I haven't sang a song in 2 weeks. I haven't been to the gym in a month. I got my COVID curves going and whatever. Corona curves. What is it? Corona curves?
Quarantine 15.
Quarantine. Yeah. And think about that too. How that affects people's mood. Yeah. People haven't seen you, and then you're going to show up and it's like you're 30, 40 pounds heavier. And family, woo!
Right, yes.
You can't have no macaroni and cheese, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to call no family members out, but I got about 3 of those.
and those will be the one with the Ziploc bags too, right?
Yes.
You're not going to eat that. Give it to me. You don't need that. Whatever.
So while we're still dealing with, since we're approaching the holidays, it is not a happy time for everyone, because of various things from, just COVID ravaging families, loss of jobs and wages, just things that could happen with our that just go on in everyday life that just don't turn out in a positive way. It's, we're dealing with people who have those situations that they've internalized and, they're walking around with it. Even for some folk that, praise God, they've not been affected in any way in those ways, we will encounter someone that is dealing with this internally. What are some suggested ways that we can engage with people where we know that something's festering on the inside? We have to, connect with them or deal with them because they're a family member or whatever. It's over the holidays. We're at a party or something. We encounter someone dealing with that. What are some ways that we can effectively engage so that our mental state doesn't take a slippery slope?
Yeah. And thank you for that question, Beverly. And, we're laughing. We love talking to each other, and this exchange is a wonderful opportunity to break some stigma, but there's a lot of loss.
Yes.
There are people who've lost their family members who won't be there.
Right. Lynette? Uh-oh.
happening here, emotional well-being, and being able to express how we feel. But grief is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a familiar pattern of behavior.
Okay. The screen
That's the
froze
definition.
on my side a little bit. Can you just say, I want to make sure that everyone got that. Just,
Oh, okay. Grief is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a familiar pattern of behavior. That is the definition of grief. Would you say that we have all experienced some sense of grief? And imagine holding all that in and never expressing it. And it's going to come out. It's going to come out as a backache. It may come out as intestinal issues. It may be a pimple. It may be a cold. But your feelings have to be expressed. And what we can do when we get together as a family member, some things that we do when we teach mental health first aid is, first of all, to try to connect to people's feelings rather than correct someone's behavior. So if you see something that's not normal for that person, ask, so I noticed that, using I statements, I noticed that you seem sad. I noticed that you've been crying the whole time. I noticed that you haven't come to the table and you're kind of standing away from all of us. You want to talk about it? Asking open-ended questions. Listening non-judgmentally. We're always assessing our family members. We should be assessing ourselves, but assess, meaning asking open-ended questions. How are you? Can I help? And then listening non-judgmentally and giving encouragement and information. Have some information related to mental health. Find out what the call lines are, because it may not be you that they want to talk to, but have you thought about talking to someone? I'll come with you, or we can call together. These lines that I know that Beverly has, that you're going to have the numbers that are going to go across, but you can call. It's anonymous. It's free. You don't need insurance. They're not going to even ask you your name. Call this line 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can be as young as 14. You can also text. You can actually text, but you got to get it out. But asking these open-ended questions are important. And it's like, your feelings matter. Don't take it personal, because it may be you that may be a trigger for this person. But we don't know until we ask.
Right.
You want to explain, you want to help me understand why you're feeling this way, or what can I do? Is there anything that I did? Accept some accountability. But again, emotional wellness is expressing your feelings, understanding why, getting the support that you need, and developing these supportive relationships based upon truth, based upon facts, based upon, emotional landscapes. Everyone's not going to be happy-go-lucky. That may be their mood.
Right.
I can't say it. I forgot we're on the internet. Never mind. But all that to say is that ask. Ask. You seem tense. You want to talk about it? Or, so what's been happening with you? How are you feeling?
Right.
Can you share it with me? Do you feel comfortable sharing it with me? But pay attention. How do they look? Are they thin? Or are they, have you been sleeping? Or the things that about someone that you can ask them. Have you been singing lately? Have you been performing? Just start the conversation.
Yeah.
Really just start the conversation.
And it really does make a world of difference, because, even let's say with a coworker, and, you don't have to be friendly, buddy, but, if you see something a little odd with that person after especially if you know of them a bit, just a simple, how you doing today? And, you look a little sad, like you mentioned, and, just a little simple, kind of pull like that, you have no idea how that person can, they're probably waiting for that. It's just like scratching the surface, and then outpours maybe not their whole life story, but they just need to vent. They just need to get it out because they're bubbling over. And that, like, just being aware, and caring really makes a world of difference. Definitely.
And absolutely. And information is not advice. And we don't have all the answers. And you know what? The worst thing, first of all, you know how much courage it takes for someone to tell you how they're feeling? That takes so much courage, especially when the answer may not be a good one, or like we're not prepared for someone to say, how do you feel? I feel like I want to kill myself. What if someone says that to you?
Right.
And you may hear that. This has been a tough time. I don't want to live anymore. I really just don't. Listen. All we have to do is listen, because what studies have shown is that if you ask that question, if you're not encouraging the person to take their life or die by suicide, imagine a boiling pot and the lid is on really, really tight. And a lot of our feelings are like this because we hold it in for cultural reasons, for many different reasons. Why we don't talk about our emotional well-being, because we're seen as weak. Black people, we can't be weak, especially Black women. If we survived slavery, we shouldn't be. What are we crying about that? I mean, it's almost like we don't have permission to take a moment. But imagine that boiling pot with the tight lid on. You're asking someone a question about their feelings or possibly not being here. You asking that question and giving that person the space without judgment is like moving that lid a little to the side, and some of that just some of that release just comes out.
Yeah.
And it's not going to come out all at once.
Right.
It may be 3 or 4, 10, 20 conversations, but just to have a conversation about how someone is feeling it takes so much courage to ask the question, because you never know what the answer is going to be, but it takes double courage to actually answer truthfully.
Right.
Because you're not sure if people care. People, that whole trust thing is just, what are they going to do? Is it going to affect my job? Or my kid's not going to get invited to the birthday party? Is it going to affect, my coworkers, what they think about me? Think about officers and firemen who are struggling with their emotional well-being, but so afraid because of stigma to say, I'm depressed, because maybe their partner doesn't want to ride with them, or don't send them out on those calls, or, because we really don't understand.
Right.
So many of us are walking around emotionally sick.
Yeah.
And we've gotten so used to kind of living like that we think that that's normal. But it doesn't have to be.
Absolutely. Now, it's easy sometimes to spot when we can self-identify when we need to take a mental break because of some traumatic adverse event that takes place, death in the family, or we see something horrific happen or what have you. And it's like, okay, we can identify those things. It's easy to spot. It's like, okay, I need time. I need to, step back from this. But I'm sure that in a daily routine, it's hard to spot the little subtleties that happen. Let's say just from you just going to work and you're having to deal with the overbearing boss day in and day out, or you were expecting a raise, you didn't get it, or you worked hard on something and you didn't get the outcome that you expected. It's like, those are things that's like, okay, that's everyday life, but there's some triggers, I'm sure, that happen in there that's subtle that we may not pick up on, and then 6 months down the road, we're a wreck, and people are looking at us like, what's the problem? You're in this fancy job, what's the problem? But what are some of those subtle triggers that we can maybe pick up on that can kind of raise the flag, to say we might need to take a step back?
And again, it's so personal, because it's first of all acknowledging what your normal looks like, and what the other person's normal looks like. But some of the obvious things would be, we look at the physical outward symptoms. Someone who's usually pulled together. Okay, the hair's not done. There's no makeup on. And see, COVID just threw all that, because most people weren't doing that. Right. But and so now you see them, it's like, oh, but but how they keep themselves, like their physical hygiene, not talking or not engaging. Communication has lessened. Non-responsive to certain things. And going back to that live, laugh, love, and learn, think about those 4 L's and check in. Okay, what's going on with me? Okay, do I feel happy? Can I laugh? Okay, loving. What's going on with my relationships? And the thing about it is that we all have things going on that we suppress. And sometimes we don't know what's going to be a trigger for us because there's so much suppressed trauma from familiar emotional landscapes that we inherited, that we have a natural emotional default to certain things that maybe not even aware that we do that until our family members or loved ones point them out to us. Remember that budget we were talking about?
Yeah.
Which is your coping skills. Those are things that we need to do every day. We need to find a way, because those are maintaining our wellness. So when those really, really hard times come, we're full. We can navigate them. We can get through them, and we can see ourselves on the other side of it. But when you have not been steadily taking care of yourself, or you continually, I'm trying to think of a symbol. It's like a runner. I'm not a runner. No. But if you're a runner, you're a runner.
Yeah.
Well, you know that you're not okay. If you haven't ran in 6 months and you say, I'm gonna do Eagle Rock.
my 2 feet say, no, you're not.
Imagine your feet is now your mind, because you haven't prepared for it. We can emotionally prepare for things. We can prepare our mental health. Okay, you know what? So if you're a runner, you know what you need to do to train. Like, okay, you got to stretch, you got to drink water, you got to, maybe whatever you do to be able to get up Eagle Rock, right?
Right.
But you can't just say, you know what? All right, I'm going up Eagle Rock. But, and that's a weird little, I guess, analogy. But the bottom line is that's what happens with us. We haven't been taking care of us, and then we get some drastic news, and it's like, I'm done. I can't handle this. So mental health is something that we proactively have to manage, like everything else. I need to wash my hair. I need to brush my teeth every day. And that's for my teeth. What am I going to do for here? What does Lynette need to do to check in?
Right.
Check in. Why am I feeling like that? Think about it, because most of the time we know. But start building your list of your coping skills and put yourself first. I give you permission. Put yourself first. It's not selfish. Let me tell you, self-care is not vanity, it's sanity.
Some good ones. Self-care is sanity, not vanity.
Right.
Like that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it's funny. I was doing these presentations when COVID first started, and Viktor Frankl has a quote. He has a couple that I absolutely love. One is, when you have discovered your why, you'll figure out how. And I used that when Carl was on. But also, don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm.
That is a really good one. That might hit some people on the back end, but that's a good one right there.
Yeah. Because you know what? If they're supportive, interdependent relationships, they'll be there.
Yeah.
They'll be there.
Absolutely.
They'll be there.
In this digital age that, there's apps for everything nowadays, do you find that there are any apps that would be beneficial for us to utilize to help us manage or cope with?
Yeah, you can go to verywellmind.com. There's a list of apps for mental health. Very Well Mind.
I'm on the screen.com.
Yes. And you there's like a whole link, but if you Google Very Well Mind, you'll see the link for the apps. So yeah. And then you can also go to Mental Health America. And there's a ton of information, printable stuff to do with the kids, stuff talking about how you can engage family members in difficult conversations, coping skills, teenagers, videos, how to talk about COVID, grief. I mean, it's a wealth of information. Call lines, support lines, text lines. If you have family, outside of New Jersey, all over the world, I mean, there's resources that, that's on the site. So Mental Health America is a wonderful website. Of course, you can visit mhanj.org, which is the Mental Health Association in New Jersey. We have virtual groups. And again, it's interesting when you say, how would you even bring up a group, right? Like, you're at your family Thanksgiving or whatever, and auntie's over there, and and you think auntie really could use some support. And you even say, have you considered, I'm really concerned about you. You don't have to go through this alone. Would you consider like going to a support group? Support group? Ain't nothing wrong with
me. Yeah.
I mean, that's for weak people. We don't do that. We don't. I can't afford that. My insurance don't pay for that. You get all these things, and and it's okay because they're getting it out. But the seed's always planted.
Yeah.
If you are interested, it's free. You don't need insurance. You could just call in. You can use your phone. You don't have to turn your camera on. Just sit and listen. You're not alone. You're not alone. What you're feeling is normal. I just want to see you smile again. I just want to hang out with you again. I miss you.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. This must really hurt.
Yeah.
This must really hurt. But it takes so much courage. And you are the strongest person I know. And I think this could really help you. I'll come with you. I'll call with you. That just connecting to the feeling, like I'm going to connect to the feelings and not a correction of the behavior. And when I say that, I'm not going to say, you know what, you just loud, you noisy. Nobody want to hang out with you anyway. That's not going to be helpful. But even though we want to say that, but when we are mature and it's like, it's not about the behavior. The behavior is a sign and symptom,
right,
of something. Because if you think about it, anybody's in their right mind wouldn't do some of the things. So that's the first sign. Like something just like, that's not nice. What's wrong? What's going on? And we don't say, well, why you do it? Why you in it? The question is, what happened to you? What happened? Right. What happened? That's an open-ended question. You may get a flood. What happened?
Be prepared.
That's right. You get your chicken wings and you go sit on, and you fix your plate. We're gonna sit over here.
Right.
But before they take it all, and then we can just whatever. But
and for the audience, I want them to be able to see the information, because you're mentioning virtual groups.
Yes.
And I'll put the information up on the screen, so you guys can take a screenshot or just take some notes really quick. I'm gonna put this up so that you can see it, and keep it up for a couple of seconds. All right. And we can also put the information in the, we can also put the information up on the screen if there's anything that you missed, or you can also catch the replay on that. I just want to make sure that people got a chance to see the information on the virtual groups.
And let me just say something about the virtual groups. The virtual groups, and when you go to the website, we have an actual, and this is another one of those things that came out of COVID. All COVID things aren't bad things. It's kind of we grow, we had to transition, and we learned, and we had to adjust. Is that we have a virtual wellness center. Virtual, meaning you're in front of your computer, you're on your phone. Every day of the week, there's a support group. There's support groups for teens, for first responders, for creative people, for dads, single dad, you name it. But if you visit our website and you join, it's called United by Wellness. You'll see the link. It's big as day. You register. It takes, I think it's 3 questions, and you'll get links to support groups every day. All you have to do is they'll pop up on your phone. If you want to join, just click right there and you're right there. You don't have to say anything.
That's on the
MHANJ.org website. Yes. Okay. So United by Wellness, and there's support groups every day, 7 days a week. So
that's
have information. Yes.
Yeah. That's good to know. Because there's sometimes people, oftentimes people are not going to say, you know what, I need help. 9 times out of 10, they're not necessarily going to say that, or they know something's going on, but they can't express it. They're too embarrassed, or people they don't trust talking to folks like you mentioned. And this is really good to, you can privately on your own go onto the site and find and connect with the group or a virtual experience and get the help that you need, and no one would have to know.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to, it could be just a one-time thing. Just get it off your chest. That could be on your budget list. I'm going to call the call center once a month just to talk, just to kind of express my feelings to an anonymous person, get it off my chest. But, but find those people who you can talk to, whether it's your pastor, whether it's someone, whoever, family members, it could be friends, someone to listen, someone to listen non-judgmentally to you. And to your point, Beverly, is if you're giving out information too, check it out for yourself too, before you, so that you can give those detailed information. Because if you give someone a call line and you don't say, oh, well, you may have to be on hold for, like those little things can really be a deterrent. So we want to, we create I call it our ICE list, our in case of emergency list.
Right.
To have something in your phone. If this could possibly happen, here's a number you can call.
Right.
Or here's a group that you can join. Oh, here, check this out. Or here's this cool app. Here's this meditation app, or, seascapes or soundscapes or whatever that relaxes me, or, but and also I noticed that you seem sad. What have you done in the past that helped you feel better? Because most people understand what's happening, and so it's again, having people to self-advocate and to connect, because most people have a sense of their own coping skill. They just really probably haven't used any of them.
Right.
Because if they weren't as important as the other things on their list.
Yes. Wow.
But, yeah.
All right. A lot of good information here. A lot of details that, if you missed any part of this will be on the streams. You can go back for the replay. And I want to also just make sure that I put the information up here again. If you need to call for trained staff, you can call that number there. Also, the website, mhanj.org. And you can, don't hesitate to get the help that you need, because you put you first. Put you first. They always tell you on the plane that when the oxygen masks come down, put it on yourself first before your kid. And it's like, for some people, like, oh no, you can't do anything to help anyone else until you help yourself first.
That's right.
Put you first. Absolutely.
Yes. And you know what? You matter. You matter. And let your mental health, your emotional wellness be your superpower. Be an example. Be an example to your families. Share your own emotional journey, your emotional well-being. Share what you're doing to cope. Make it a part of your daily routine or your weekly routine. Be an example. Be a demonstration. So that it's not for this generation coming up that they're free to talk about their emotional well-being. It's folks in, our 50s and 60s who are like, I don't talk about it.
Right.
But ain't that wrong with me? Give me a drink, whatever it is. But, maybe have some, how people cope are differently, but there are more tools available. So let's break the stigma, but demonstrate emotional wellness and what it looks like.
Absolutely. So please tell us where we can find, or some of the things that the New Jersey mental health players are doing and some activities that you're involved in, where we can find them.
Ooh, let me tell you. Well, the New Jersey Mental Health Players, I love this group. They are a group of volunteers and they are amazing. And we are doing this series called the Uncomfortable Change series. And so we have virtual presentations, and there are some community performances that are coming up, and I will post them on the MHANJ website page with the links. I also put them on my Facebook page, all of my pages, Lynette Entertainment. I just post them everywhere, so you can't miss them. So if you're on my page, Lynette Sheard, you'll see the links for the players. But Uncomfortable Change, how to have that family meeting. We're talking about racism, mental health, and creativity. How do we teach children? And, you know, with the holidays coming up, how do we explain the holidays now? You know, how do we explain Thanksgiving? We have an overview of mental health. We have anxiety and depression. We call it COVID blues. How to discern signs and symptoms of anxiety and depression, and some coping skills, and how we do these things. And there's so many programs. And when you go to my website, all these links will be there as far as the free, and they're free performances. And we usually have them on replay so you can watch them over and over or share them with your co-workers, friends, family. But what we do is, and we had to, do virtual now, is that we would actually do a PowerPoint presentation, but then you would actually see a conversation between two people talking about some very uncomfortable thing. They stay in character, and the people on the call have to address them, because they'll ask you a question. So what do you think I should do? So then the person in the audience is like, well, I think you should. So it becomes this interactive conversation. And then we always leave with mental health resources and support. But we are breaking the silence using art as a form of advocacy, because art has a tendency to disarm people. Right. And it's like, before you know it, it's like, oh my God, I learned something. Oh my God, I didn't think about that. Oh, but again, it's taking it out of the textbook and putting it and attaching it to a human being. And it becomes real then when you see depression at work. Like, we have demonstrations of people acting out, I guess, schizophrenia or bipolar or depression, and seeing what this looks like in a work setting, in a family setting, in a church setting, whatever it is. And it's like, oh, I've never thought of that as a sign or a symptom, so, and then how to really talk to someone, because again, we're using that art to break the stigma, to give people tools to recognize, emotional wellness and what emotional unwellness looks like, and the resources that they can use or call or share to maintain their emotional wellness, because it is everything. You cannot separate your head from your body. You can't. You can't.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Lynette. And you mentioned this is also on the MHA website. Yes. Or is this okay?
Yes.
So again, this just everyone go to mhanj.org.
And you know what? You can also like our Facebook page, the Mental Health Association in New Jersey's Facebook page. All this, I will probably take this link after and put it on the page. But all of the community performances and the free Zoom links and all that will be on that Facebook page as well.
That is amazing. And that, thank you so much. And, definitely I'm sharing this, and especially with those certain family members that may need a little extra help. But, it's for all of us. And it's not a bad thing for us to even touch base with folks to make sure that we're still doing okay, and the subtle triggers and things that, pop up and make things difficult for us in our lives that we don't talk about, we become that boiling pot with the top on it. And we too need to, get that help that we need. Who's going to help the helper? And, that's important that we, again, put ourselves first. So I appreciate you so much. And thank you for, again, just sharing on such a major topic that touches all of us. And again, this is Lynette Sheard. You can find her on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can also go to the websites that we have here, the mhanj.org, for a ton of resources that we talked about here. If you need a helpline to get trained staff involved, it's free. Give that number a call. We also want to show the verywellmind.com. That also is another full of resources there for you. And please, please, please take advantage of that and share, post, retweet, like, just send that to any and everyone, because you just don't know. You think the person that's in the Mercedes and looking well and the big house, they're just, everything's all together, but you have no idea. Have no idea. When they go in and they close that door, that person could just collapse and be crying their eyes out, and you just don't know. So please share with any and everyone. So thank you so much, Lynette. I appreciate this. And thank you, everyone, for your comments. I saw you guys coming in, and appreciate you watching and supporting season 2. And I look forward to connecting with everyone again next week. And thank you all. Thank you again, Lynette.
Thank you. Stay well.